everybody, welcome to this episode of Things Live. I'm looking forward to talking to Tony Michaels. Tony, it's great to connect with you. I'm a Detroiter and have been a big fan and have been with my family to the parade in Detroit. You're the CEO of the parade company, having really been doing amazing things, bringing Gardner White as a presenting sponsor through 2031. And really creating it to be recognized by USA Today as one of the best holiday parades in America. And it really is a special event. So I appreciate you talking with me today. I'm a business coach and I work with people all over the globe who are stuck and get them unstuck. And this podcast is a passion project of mine because I get to bring guests like you on that also are in alignment with my mission, that can share something to get people unstuck. So I always like to kind of start off when I'm talking to my guests, because I think people learn through story. What's a recent or what is a, kind of pivotal stuck moment in your career or as of late? And how did you get unstuck that can help the people who are listening?
I think it's a great question. One of the
Thank you.
things that can kind of get you stuck is maybe getting overwhelmed sometimes. And sometimes being overwhelmed, you naturally maybe get stuck. And so you're looking at 5, 6 different things that seem to be really crowding your brain cells. And if you allow that to happen, then you're really stuck. So I'm going to tell you a great little tidbit. My father, who graduated 8th grade and turned out to be vice president of purchasing for Elias Brothers Restaurants, started when they had 2 stores. He told me, he said, have you met it yet? And I'm like, what are you talking about, Dad? And he said, it. He said, don't you listen to people and they say, it's getting crazy, it's so difficult. He said, it is your biggest enemy in your career. And I'm like, okay. And he went on to further explain that everybody uses the word it. And he said, you have to wake up every day and beat it. And so you're never saying it's crowding me, it's getting to me. So I think with those moments when you feel overspent, and there's too much going on, you can crawl backwards. But if you come out and you attack it, you win. And that's with an all-in attitude. And that's what I talk to the team. I live by, you could say you're all in, but if you come out and say, oh, I'm all in, sometimes you're only halfway in. Yeah. And everybody in your team, everybody in your world needs to know that this is truly all in. So I hope that answers it.
I love that answer. That's, I think, one of my favorite answers. And it's almost a formula of why not to go past 8th grade, because that's some heavy wisdom. That's really, that's great. That's great. I love it. And, the only thing I would add to that I don't even want to take away from your dad's advice, because it's so beautiful and beautifully said. But I would say also, when you talk about being overwhelmed, think community, we talk a lot about, I work with a lot of C-level execs, and that's one of the first things they always say, right? I'm overwhelmed. And one of the key things that you can do in any position, but specifically people who are feeling overwhelmed, is make sure you're prioritizing everything. A lot of times people forget they have a lot to do, but they don't get it on paper and prioritize it in order. And that's the key. All right, so let's move on. Tony, let's talk about the heart of the parade. Let's kind of go there first, because it really is. It's a magical event. It brings out the child and the inner child in all of us. And so just talk a little bit about the heart of the parade.
The parade is, and you use the word heart, it is the heart and soul of our city, our region, and our state. It is the #1 event, but it does something magical. We're in our 97th year. And for 97 years, it has brought people together of all walks of life. And that's race, religion, it doesn't matter, young, old. They are shoulder to shoulder, side by side, enjoying this moment. And they don't think about other things. they're just in magic land for that 2 hours, 3 hours. And it's a fact. And I will tell you, in my past role, at Elias Brothers Big Boy and all that, we were sponsors. I knew how big this was. I knew how powerful it was, but I didn't have a clue. I
Yeah.
I never truly had a clue of how powerful it was because come Thanksgiving, and you have 450 texts that morning from people saying, "I'm with my family. We're down Woodward. Wish we could stop and say hi." Or we're watching on television. This is 40 years in the making. Or I was here with my grandparents, then with my parents, and now I have my kids here. That is special. That is something you can't just snap your fingers and create. You have to do great things. You have to keep it innovative, keep it strong, keep it warm, keep it fun, and you have to have great support from great sponsors. And
Yeah.
as I said to the team here, the better we make it, the more are going to come. And so we've been able to, in the past 13 years, completely change this organization, like completely flip it.
Yeah.
And we're in a very good spot now, but we don't stop. We continue to innovate and to make it great. And that's important in any job, anywhere you go. If you sit back, you're sitting back. There's no other way to say it. We refuse to do that. So it's about people and bringing people together. That's what we do.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. I read a book as you're talking. It makes me think of it. I read this book, I think like 20 years ago. It was called Living Your Yoga. And basically what the book was about was you can do yoga, but can you live your yoga off the mat in a stressful situation at work, when you're, in some type of, any type of situation. So how can somebody kind of, you're bringing people together, you're creating magic in a post-COVID world. I think people are craving that more than ever. But how can people take it out of the parade and bring it into their home and into their workplace a little bit more?
I think it comes down to what does that mean to you? Do you like what you're doing, first of all? Do you love your company? Do you really feel the need to make a difference? And I think that is huge. Your home life, man, I'll tell you what, there's nothing stronger than family.
Yep.
And our family, we make a commitment. This is how we live our lives. I mean, it's all about kids. It's all about being successful in the right way, doing things for others. And if you live in a world too, where others are most of the time more important than you, that's pretty fulfilling. And it's a great way to live. It's a great way to think. So, what can you do for other people? And I don't mean just write checks and things like that.
Right.
There's a friend looking for a job. They're out of a job. How many people can you actually call for them? Can you really go that extra mile for your job, your family, for your friends, for acquaintances, people who call you for help? That's fulfilling stuff that I
Yeah.
think kind of takes your life to another level. And it's that living your yoga. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good way to go.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, it's almost like you gotta sometimes, take a breath post, any magical events. Maybe take a breath and almost kind of do a quantum leap and bring it forward, right? And just see how you can kind of, do it in your world. When you talk about innovation, though, Tony, you're talking about, you're not, if you sit back, you're sitting back, and you and your team are not sitting back. And I agree, it takes a village, takes a team, and um, but what does innovation look like for you and your team?
How great are the floats? Are they the best that they could be? And we've made major changes. We've gone from 40-foot floats to 130. How much animation can we put on those floats so that people are just in awe as it's going down Woodward or on television? Because again, you're trying to reach the child and in the adult. So that's a piece of innovation. With the
Yeah.
other things that we do, we put on the S3 turkey trot, 13, 15,000 runners. How can we innovate the start? How can we make it better? How can we make it a better run down Woodward Avenue while all the people are waiting for the float? We constantly challenge ourselves to make things better. And that goes for everything that we do. Every step of it. We put on Hobnoble Gobble presented by Ford. We also do the Ford firework. You know, how good can they be? We have completely changed the show. I mean, it is a big time, possibly number one in the nation right now. We had to innovate. We had to say, we're going to stretch the time out. We're going to put more fireworks in that show, in that 24-minute span than ever before. We're going to change the way the music plays. You continually challenge yourself to innovate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me about talk to me about your dad a little bit more. You know, so you shared he had an 8th grade education, but kind of rewind with me.
That was my dad.
Yeah. So share with me about your dad. So share with me kind of other things that he planted within you as not only as your dad, but a mentor that are helping you in all of the things you're sharing today.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was brought up, it was all about be great at what you do, be the best at what you can do, be a friend to everybody, be a normal human being, and never, ever think that you're the important person in the room. Don't ever think that, because that is wrong. Everybody is more important. Also, a smile. Great story. I was working at Elias Brothers my whole upbringing. And Lou Elias was a restaurant genius. I mean, they were way ahead of their time. They just were. You know, they brought Big Boy to Detroit and all of those good things. And I was walking by him one day as a young guy. And I walked by him and I didn't smile, and he stopped and he said, "What's wrong with you?" I'll never forget this. This is the chairman of the board, you know, the owner of the company. And I said, "What do you mean, Lou? I'm good." He goes, "Well, you weren't smiling." And I said, "Well, I was just thinking." And he said, "Let me tell you something. At my company, you smile, because if you don't want to be here, and if people don't want to be here, and they're not enjoying themselves being here, and they're not smiling being here, we don't need them. So everybody knows where the door is at. It's right over there. And I want everyone to enjoy themselves here." He said, "And a smile sends a message to everybody."
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, talk about a great lesson.
Yeah.
Really a great lesson for a young kid out of college.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Yeah. I should think about, we were in the service industry. But you think about it, every business is a service industry. Everybody has clients. Everyone has a team.
Yeah.
And you need to be consistent. You have to be consistent. That's the key.
I love that. So talk to me. You said, you know, you're getting advice from the chairman of the board right out of college. You know, so your dad finished 8th grade. You're finishing college. When you finish college, in hindsight, as you look back, what do you wish they taught you in college that they didn't?
Street smarts.
Mm-hmm.
Street smarts, knowing that every decision that you make affects one side in a good way and maybe another side in a challenging way. I won't say a bad way, because decisions, I mean, they're not 100%, that they're not all fulfilling the circle of happiness for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, there's always something. So I wish they would have taught us more about think things out, don't just speak, and really think about it. And think about how you're going to close the circle, who you're affecting in a good way, how you're affecting things in a more challenging way, and then are these the right decisions once you are able to put that all together with your team and then ultimately make a decision. There wasn't a whole lot of that. There really wasn't.
Yeah.
And I would have hoped that there would have been a lot more. In fact, I've spoken at colleges and I've shared this about this circle type thinking. And in fact, if you think about it, every act that you do, if you're being a jerk in any way, shape, or form, or being a good guy, you're affecting somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody. And that's something to think about. It really is. It really is.
Yeah, the universe will balance everything out ultimately. The universe will balance out. Karma, I believe, is a very real thing. But yeah, no, but I hear what you're saying. Let me ask you a question as we're sitting here now. It's September 13th, 2023. We're taping this. We're in a post-COVID world where people are back and they're coming to the parade. What does the parade look like? What does the parade look like 2 years from today, right? We have virtual reality, we have artificial intelligence, we have all of these new technologies that are going to be, coming our way. All of the big shops are spending millions, if not billions, on new technology. So what does the parade look like 2 years from now?
We have to be careful. We've got to make sure that what we do is really, really homespun and heartfelt. And we talk about technology, we talk about those things, and we know that we can't overdo it.
Yeah.
That this has got to be, we have to stay in our wheelhouse. Now, that's not to say that we won't do some things, because we will.
Yeah.
But we have to be very careful, because you can turn on television at any time and watch high tech, whatever it is that you want to watch. But how often can you come to Woodward Avenue in Detroit and really, really, really feel that grounded love,
Right.
side by side with other people? So we get our brand, and we know that we'll get tested on a couple sides, with technology and so on. But we also have to know our place.
Good.
And know how to stay there, and also incorporate certain things.
Good.
I will tell you, I'm raising money right now. We're raising money to build a new home on the Detroit River in the old Broadhead Armory. Now, in that, when we get in there, of course, we're going to salvage all the art. We're going to tear down the back, refurbish the front, and build a 2-story building right on the Detroit River, designed by Rossetti, I may add, who's done so many things.
Right.
And now Kramer's involved, and Barton Mallow. Just great people. But inside, it's going to go closer to your question. So there's going to be technology in our new home. So kids will be able to pop onto a screen and build a parade by hitting buttons and adding floats. And we're going to have all kinds of things like that. So we'll have our space for those types of things.
Yeah.
And then we have the parade.
Yeah, I love it. I'm glad you answered it that way, because some things you just want to keep those 97-year traditions, the vibe and the feel. I think it's great. Tony, let's do a quick speed round. What's a book, a TED Talk, or an article that's had a big impact on you?
Oh, man. That's a toughie. I like sports books. I've always liked sports books.
Yeah.
There's a book that I read as a very young guy, and I say this to everybody: read the Gordie Howe story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious. Here's a guy who did it all, came from a small town in Canada, and you read about his career, and it really gets you pumped.
Yeah.
It really gets you pumped. And people don't talk about Gordie Howe much anymore. He's passed on, but I'm telling you, it's a phenomenal read, and it's quick. It really is.
I'm going to check it out. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received.
I'm sorry, you cut out. I apologize.
Best piece of wisdom you've ever received.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Don't think too much of yourself. You're not entitled. You're there to take what you have and to help other people get great things. And I view, and I've learned this through the years, as CEO of an organization, and people who are great in your organization and do great things to grow and improve your organization, you owe a lot to them too. And you've got to battle and fight to make their lives better all the time.
Yeah.
Because they're giving you more time than they give their family.
Yeah. one of my favorite things to say is never believe your own PR. Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. Never. Finish this sentence. One thing everybody can do to innovate, but also keep the lineage of their business strong is?
Make sure you're all in, because those things will all come to your head almost at a flash if you're all in. If you're half all in, you're going to have trouble answering that sentence.
Yeah, I love it. Tony, this was great. I appreciate your time, and I just want to extract a couple of things that I thought were really meaningful. Think community. Tony talks a lot about a lot of things that can help you get unstuck in many areas of your business and even your life. But I love the through line, which we didn't necessarily dive too into, but I think it's a really important through line, that your team is really, really important, that no one person stands on their own, and the importance of having a solid team is really critical. And that was part of your story throughout, Tony. And I think in community, we got to make sure that in a world where we're in the office and hybrid and we have people virtually working for us all over the world, we got to make sure that we unite and bring our teams together. And it's really important. You've heard me say this a lot. Always hire great, because you want to be able to trust the people are doing what they need to do. And then it's our responsibility to come in and lead them and create a safe environment, like a lot of the things Tony shared. Tony, this was great. Tell people where they can connect with you further and learn more about the parade and the turkey trots and everything else that's going on here that you're leading the troops in Detroit.
Real easy. You go to theparade.org and it's all there. And you can pop onto everything we do with our thousands of volunteers and our new home build and all the events that we do. Pop on at any time and call us, ask questions. You can email us. We're here for the people. That's what we do.
I love it. Tony, thanks so much. And community, thank you. You can reach me at johndwoskin.com. And this was great. Tony, it's been a pleasure. I know we tried to get this happening, and I'm glad it happened today. And looking forward to the parade in just about a month and a half. And think community, have an awesome day. Tony, thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks.